Hello and welcome to HITC Sport, and what a weekend of football that was. The Geordies are probably still nursing their hangovers, while Man United fans might be beginning to realise that maybe, just maybe, they overpaid for Paul Pogba. Lads, have we ever had a relegation battle as intense as this? It's the middle of February and there are 6 points separating 19th and 10th. For some reason that just came out as a bit of a lisp. I mean, who cares about the top of the table? If you're invested in the title race, you're going to be bored into a coma. Just accept City have this all sewn up and the excitement pretty much lies in the bottom half of the table. And possibly whether Patrice Evra decides to kick any more fans in the head. Anyway, let's take a look at the past week of football because there's been some very strange goings on. He's Ronaldo in his own mind, that guy. That's his problem. He thinks he's better than he is. Gary Neville, October 2017. Genius to get £24 million for Arnautovic. Unbelievable business. I think West Ham will find that out soon. Ian Wright, October 2017. For me, it's probably a good deal for Stoke. John Walters, November 2017. Right, despite looking like he's just dipped his head in a vat of bleach, Marco Arnautovic is absolutely on fire for West Ham. The man has scored 7 goals for them now and is an absolute talisman. He slammed in another one against Watford and completely ran the show. The only thing with West Ham though is that they do currently play in a soulless goldfish bowl that the fans are basically forced to attend out of sheer loyalty. I would say attending the London Stadium is a bit like going to your great aunt Agatha's 93rd birthday party. Nobody really wants to be there, but you're basically forcing yourself to go out of sheer obligation. West Ham did get the job done though, beating Watford 2-0. Huddersfield beat Bournemouth 4-1 with goals from Steve Mooney, an own goal, Rajiv Vadalapara and Alex Pritchard, who honest to God looks like somebody's lost child. Virgil van Dijk returned to Southampton and received the same reception I get whenever I surprise my family with a trip home to Ireland. You remember when Luis Suarez decided to take a break from lunching on people's shoulders and scored 31 goals in 37 games when Liverpool nearly won the title? Unless you're 7 years old, in which case how did you get on the computer? Then you definitely will. Well, Mohamed Salah has 29 in 35 games, and yet he couldn't get past Oscar and Schürrle in the Chelsea team 3 years ago. Now I'm not one to call for anybody to lose their job, but seriously, Mauricio Pellegrino, how is he still in employment? He's like that underqualified mate of yours who just manages to somehow nail the job interview before breaking the fax machine, crashing the company car, burning down the 3rd floor. I mean, it's... Claude Puel was sacked from Southampton last season for finishing 8th and reaching a cup final. All this despite having to cope with Shane Long's strike rate of 1 in 9. So how is Pellegrino still there? I just don't get it. It's almost like the Southampton board just don't want to admit they've made a mistake. His football is so boring, he's not getting results. Pep Guardiola, you know the man 16 points clear at the top of the league and one of the best managers in the world, literally grabbed Nathan Redmond and asked him why he wasn't attacking his fullback. This is Pep Guardiola, the best manager in the league. Pellegrino, listen to the man at the top of the game. For example, if PewDiePie came to me and said, "Stop being such an annoying or stop wearing the scarf in every video, it makes you look like a homeless hipster," then I might actually take the advice on board. You know, because it's coming from the guy with 60 million subs and all that. But no, Pellegrino decides to send his players out to play boring and negative football that makes the fans wish they were probably cricket enthusiasts. Anyway, Leicester City travel to Man City. It's hard to believe that the club who still play Wes Morgan and Matty James have won the league more recently than the club who are currently 37 points clear of them. It was nice of Riyad Mahrez to show up for this one. Of course he did, was that the net he had. Kasper Schmeichel once used to play for Man City. Now I don't want to disrespect the man too much, because not only could he shove a Premier League medal in my face, or the fact that he's going to a World Cup, or the fact he's been a millionaire his entire life, while I'm forced to fight drunken hobos outside Tesco on Wednesday nights in exchange for food. Clearly I've yet to win one. But Christ above, that man probably did himself a favour when he bowed out of Man City in 2009, about 5 minutes after they became rich, although he did think he was onto a winner in Notts County.
It really is living the dream, but it's the reality behind it, and you can see all the components we're putting in place. We're just showing what that reality is.
Yeah, I'd say conceding 8 to Swansea City 9 years later was on the blueprint for world domination, was it? If Schmeichel was still at City when Guardiola came in, good lord, you thought Joe Hart's humiliation was bad, sentenced to a bunch of unsuccessful loan deals, Schmeichel would have probably been chucked in the incinerator, which I assume was what the club did with Pellegrini's contract and any evidence that Adam Johnson ever played for the club. He was at fault for 2 goals on Saturday, basically gift wrapping half of Sergio Aguero's 4. But enough Schmeichel slandering before he gets his lawyers onto me. Lad, Premier League goalkeepers, do not watch our channel, I think you're safe. But yes, City completely dismantled Leicester, with Mahrez doing his best not to join in the City celebrations. Probably. Apparently the Algerian is all forgiven after basically storming out of the club for 2 weeks. This week, Danny Simpson came out and said this. He came in and spoke to the lads on our own in the dressing room, and that's it. We move on. In flashes, he has shown why he is a good player, and obviously he's back in the team and we are all delighted. Which basically translates as Riyad is by far our best player and we are trying to do everything we possibly can not to upset him. If Mark Albrighton had done that, we would have chucked him in the reserves, left him there to rot for 6 months, and probably punctured the wheels of his car for good measure. I also make sure my girlfriend doesn't step out of line or she's getting a Jeez, I had to stop that one there before I went full Jamie Carragher. Lads, what is it with professional footballers and their inability to understand what a designated penalty taker is? We've seen it before when Kevin Morales tried to take one off Nathan Baines and was subsequently substituted and treated like he'd just taken a shit on the Goodison centre circle. We saw it a few years ago when Nathan Dyer was denied a hat-trick in the Carabao Cup final against Bradford when Jonathan de Guzman batted him away like a small child. Mario Balotelli took one off Jordan Henderson. In fairness, Jordan Henderson taking penalties. And even earlier this season with Benteke and Milivojevic when it became apparently clear that Milivojevic was still waiting on that spine donor. But now, Stoke are drawing 1-1 with Brighton. They get a last minute penalty and Jesse tries to take it off Charlie Adam.
Don't you know who Charlie Adam is?
This is a man who almost single-handedly kept Blackpool in the Premier League despite looking like he went on the piss after 3 days with Gary Taylor-Fletcher. This is a man who earned himself a move to Anfield despite looking like he chain smokes 3 hours a day and sleeps on his face. This is a man who probably views a romantic weekend away and a trip to Burger King as one and the same. Alright, maybe I should stop before Charlie Adam gets his lawyers on. They don't watch these videos. Anyway, Adam took the penalty and missed. And Stoke are still in the relegation zone, with Paul Lambert, Jordan Shaqiri and Jesse Rodriguez, 19th in the league. By the way lads, a few quick things. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. The ad is right here. Also, I've got another channel. It's a Newcastle Fan View channel. Basically, I'm at St James's Park every second week. It's called Geordie Boot Boys. I'll leave the link in the description below. Anyway, back into it, and might as well start with Newcastle. What has happened to Mo Diame? For the first 18 months of his Newcastle career, he looked as though not only had he given up on football, but life itself. His tackles were weak, his passes went right to the opposition or into the crowd. Basically, he sauntered around the pitch like Moussa Sissoko on horse tranquilizers. And Sissoko is already a lazy but the last couple of months he has been outstanding, and alongside Jonjo Shelvey they absolutely bossed the midfield against Manchester United. On his day he's a great player, but at the weekend Paul Pogba's work ethic was an absolute disgrace. According to Jose Mourinho there wasn't even an injury, so I wonder how much time that man spends in front of a mirror every morning. Compare that to Shelvey, on a fraction of a wage, who probably actively avoids his own reflection. Can you blame the poor fucker? Remember Carl Darlow? Forget about him. You might see him appear on TV, appearing in a few shampoo commercials in a few years, but as far as St James's Park is concerned, he's done. It's all about Martin Dubravka now. What a debut for Newcastle. He was outstanding and made some big saves. It was an excellent win for Newcastle. Matt Ritchie's first goal since May, the club's first home win since October, and for Jose Mourinho, oh good lord, I think Sir Bobby Robson might have actually cursed his former translator, because he has never won a Premier League game at St James's Park in 7 attempts. Considering he arrived in 2004, it's not like he's been playing vintage Newcastle teams. He's lost to the likes of Celestine Babiaro, Titus Bramble and Jack Anick. Remember him? He was the guy who probably won his career in a raffle. Patrice Evra is back at West Ham and fucking hell, this is such a West Ham signing. Big name player? Check. Wages that would make your eyes bleed? Check. Belongs in a nursing home? Oh, that's a double check. This hasn't just been their philosophy since when David Square took over in 2010. I mean, they were been signing these types of players for years. Freddie Longberg, Kieran Dyer, Matthew Upson, Lucas O'Neill. I could go on, but I do actually want to get some dinner before 3 AM tonight. Signing Evra 10 years ago would have been great. Signing him now at 37 years of age? No.
I'm talking about my girl. My girl. Woo! I love this game! Happy birthday, everyone! Oh my god, I love this life!
Nobody is that enthusiastic about life. Jesus Christ, he probably bursts into song whenever he pours his cereal without spilling milk. Everton took on Crystal Palace in a battle of the greatest England managers of all time. The Toffees ran out 3-1 winners with Cenk Tosun still on the bench. Now, since this video was going out on Tuesday morning, I don't know the result of the Chelsea-West Brom game. For all I know, Daniel Sturridge might have bagged the winner and Chelsea might have lost again. Not bloody likely. So Burnley are sliding. I know they got a draw against Man City last week, but I think that had more to do with the fact that Raheem Sterling turned into Danny Welbeck for the day. The Clarets haven't won a game since December 12th. That's 10 games. I think Swansea City are this decade's Wigan Athletic though. Play like a team of strangers until February, get a new manager, throw in a few decent results, stay up, fall apart the following season. I fully expect Carvajal to join Clement, Bob Bradley Guidolin in the Dole queue soon, but he's doing a good job at the moment. Oh, and of course, a word on the North London derby. I could give a detailed match analysis on Arsenal's game plan, tactics, and overall match performance. Instead, why don't I just let DT sum it up?
Absolute bollocks.
Paints quite a picture, doesn't he? Anyway, lads, before I end this video, I do want to touch on a bit of a serious note. I know I just pump out these videos that we can all come here, have a bit of a laugh, mostly at this scarf, which I haven't mentioned that much. But I just want to dedicate a couple of minutes to Liam Miller, who sadly passed away this week at the age of 36 due to pancreatic cancer. Go to any primary school in Ireland, ask a handful of schoolboys what they want to be when they're older, and I guarantee you most of them will say they want to be a footballer. The teacher's response? Oh, come on, Patter, Seamus, Sean, what do you really want to be? From rural Ireland, it's basically seen as an unattainable pipe dream to make it as a footballer over here. And yeah, a lot of teachers basically try to discourage their pupils from doing it, maybe so they can concentrate on something more realistic. But if you told a young fella from Cork that he'd go on to play for Celtic, Man United, Leeds, Cork City, he'd represent his country 20 times, play alongside and under his boyhood hero, he'd be ecstatic. When Miller broke through at Celtic, I remember the excitement gripped the nation. Roy Keane was still in self-exile from the World Cup, and we basically needed a midfielder. I mean, Graham Kavanagh, nice guy that he is, was not going to cut it. Miller had one season in the Celtic team, but that was enough. He looked like everything the country was lacking. Bite, steal, he was scoring goals in the Champions League. Sir Alex Ferguson actually went over to scout Vincent Kompany in a Champions League game, and he came back preparing a bid for the Irishman in Celtic's midfield. It is a shame it never worked out for Man United, and yeah, the second and third acts of his career weren't exactly what he'd hoped to have written, but does it matter? Honestly, does it matter? Does it matter that he ended up struggling in the Championship in 2009? Or that he left for Australia in 2011? Or that he ended up retiring with Wilmington Hammerheads? No, it doesn't. At the end of the day, cancer does not discriminate. It doesn't care what sort of career you've had, who you are, what profession you're in. When we all heard the news, I think we were all gutted. 36 years is no age to pass away, and especially when you factor in the fact that he has 3 young kids. But Liam, you did your hometown, you did your country, you did your family very proud. And all those teachers who wanted you to get a realistic job. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. If you enjoyed, give it a like, give it a share, and a subscribe if you want. We're nearly at 100k. Anyway, as always, talk to you in a while.